All right, brother.
What's up, brothers? Special teams, special plays, special players.
What?
He's all over my TikTok.
Mine too.
Who is it?
It's a sketch.
Sketch.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
What's up,
The
brother?
dude is
You don't know
freaking
sketch?
hilarious.
Oh my God. Okay.
Freaking hilarious.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Transformation Church Message Recap Podcast.
That's right.
I am back. We are back. I am your host, Justin Oswald, one of the pastors here at TC, along with the other pastors, Ric Rodriguez and the lead pastor, Brad Livingston.
What's up, brothers?
Yes, sir.
Special teams.
And ma'am. Yeah, man.
All right, we're back.
Oh.
Anyways, we're talking about sketch for a minute.
Yes.
Is that a character?
No. So,
It's got to be.
yes, it's a character. The only thing that is real about Sketch from my deep dive into his life.
You did a deep dive, okay.
Yeah. He does have like an eye issue, like that's why he squints.
Well, I saw him
But-
on Theo Vaughn's podcast,
Yeah.
and they
I don't know
talked.
who y'all- I'm looking at who y'all talking
They
about.
talked for like an hour and a half, and he was like more. I hate to say normal. That's makes him sound like he's not.
Right.
But you know, because I know he's been on other podcasts. People ask him like, "Do you have an issue or something wrong with you? Like,
Right.
are you, autistic or whatever?" And he has said no. But I think his whole thing is a character.
Yeah, it's a character. It's just he did say that he does have like an eye issue.
Y'all see that?
Say that he does have like an eye issue.
Y'all see that?
But yeah,
I'm leaking over here.
feel bad for yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I understood in some of those other podcasts.
Because I saw something that said that he was like a gnarly football player.
Oh yeah, he has some great highlights from his high school career.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to go to college on scholarships and stuff. And
But he wanted to be a gamer.
He's what do you call a Twitch streamer?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And esports.
Esports.
So he's an athlete,
He's funny though,
but not because he plays esports. He's an athlete because he plays real football.
No, but he roasts these people he's playing with. He's funny.
Yeah.
And
He's got great one-liners. He reminds me, like Justin. You remind me of Sketch as far as those one-liners.
yeah, I like a good
quick-witted.
one-liner. I like a good one-liner. No, and he does the whole "What's up, brother?" You know, if you've seen people do that, that's
Yeah.
him. And
Gotcha.
he's been on other podcasts, like I said, Theo Vaughn and some others. But he plays golf.
Yeah.
There was a whole YouTube thing with him with some other YouTube guys, and they took him golfing, and he plays
Pretty good at golf.
He's an athlete. Maybe.
Literally though, he
Yeah.
is. He played football, but he is funny. He has some great one-liners.
Sorry.
And they had him at the NFL draft.
Yeah, he did the Texans.
Yeah, he did. They had him
Texans
out.
draft, like 7th round, I think.
Wow.
So he's kind of like one of those TikTok people getting famous for whatever reason. But
Interesting.
but he does like when he's live streaming. He wears glasses, but he squints and like gets up close to the screen or whatever. But yeah, no, he's pretty funny.
He is.
John's into him, huh?
Ish.
He seems like somebody you'd like. He is funny. He roasts some people. It's good. It's a good time. So, anyways, we
Roasted.
are back. We were
are
just
back.
right before we come on that somehow that.
Oh, we're talking about it. I was laying on the couch over
Yeah,
there.
something happened. So
I'm so tired today.
yeah, well, it's Tuesday.
I cannot get it together for the audience. So when I get delirious, things can get a little sideways. So
He
You
went
never
and laid
know.
on the couch.
I
That
did.
was a
okay.
mistake. You should not have laid on the couch.
Well,
I mean,
Well, John hadn't done his job yet. That's why.
that's right.
John was taking forever.
Yeah.
Getting
But
the
we figured
podcast
it
set
out.
up. But
No,
it's
we
all
were
right.
trying to take
A lot of
some
grace.
staff pictures today.
Staff pictures for the new website. If you haven't
Hey,
checked out
we
our
have
new
a new website up.
yeah, we have our new
fantastic.
website.
Yeah, John built it.
John built it.
John built it over the last 4.5 decades. So it's
It's been in the works a while.
it's been in the works a while.
It probably has been deen for 6 months.
It
or 4
literally has been
months,
done
yeah.
since last year, but it kind of got put on the back burner for a little bit.
But new website, transformationchurch.com. Same address and new site.
That's right.
Another thing we have we'll go ahead and mention it. We now have the ability to easily accept stocks as a donation.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to kick us over some Apple stock, Google stock, Tesla stock.
We had a way up to this point. It was just complicated, and like we have a broker, and your broker or whatever has to. There's like paperwork. It's pretty complicated. The benefit of donating stock, now that we're talking about it, is if you wanted to make a donation to the church and you were going to do it with stock, but you were going to like sell your stock. Now you owe capital gains taxes, but because we're
you would owe capital gains taxes.
But because we're a nonprofit, we're exempt. So you can just donate the stock, and then we liquidate it and get the full.
Nice.
And you don't have to
amount.
pay taxes.
So you get a tax credit, like for your charitable giving, and you do not owe capital gains taxes. So.
Correct.
Oh, that's good.
And it's cool. So we have there's a company we've partnered with that does it. It's like it all liquidates on the back end. It's real simple. It's real simple to do, especially if you have like a Charles Schwab or one of these big brokerage accounts,
The Schwab.
Any of those, wherever your IRA is. So you can do it out of your IRA. You can do independent. You can do individual stocks. You can pledge. Stocks. There's a whole lot. We also are working on a new way. We could do crypto now, but we're going to do crypto through that same platform and. What's it called? The DAF.
That's
I forget what it's
those
called.
terms are used differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a term. It's a term. Anyways, it's for people
I got you.
it's for people who want to like planning and some of their estate planning.
Yeah. Has anybody ever given through crypto?
Yeah,
Because I know, like, I have crypto and stuff like that. I
We've
didn't
had
know
a couple,
people-
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
You talking about
a donor advised
charitable fund.
A donor advised fund. If you have a donor advised fund that was set up through like a financial planner or something,
Yeah.
you can also give out of that.
Interesting.
Oh, that's
So-
cool. That's interesting.
On our website, on the main page, there's a button. You can either go to our give page or on the main web homepage. There's a button that says donate non-cash assets, and that'll take you and give you all the information. But anyways,
Nice.
it's kind of cool. Part of the reason we're doing that is not only with the Imagine campaign that we're in, as we're trying to raise the 1.2 million, which we just recently hit the 750,000
Go.
which is really great. But yeah, just want to give people options to be able to not only donate to things they care about, like your church, but do it in ways that benefit you, like in your own finances, especially tax things like that and all that. So, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's pretty cool. So, anyways, go check out the new website, transformationchurch.com.
So if you got Bitcoin, Ether,
all that. We can take all
Tesla stock, Google stock, Apple stock, any stock, really, you can donate with
that.
it.
You can donate.
That's right.
And here and we don't hold further explanation. We don't hold the stock. And part of that is we consider if you're donating to the church, it's a form of worship. And we don't want to hold worship or donations as a form of investment strategy. So when you donate the stock, that system that we use liquidates it on the back end and sells it, and then they just deposit the money to us. Part of the reason is we, both parties, you as a donor and we as the organization taking it, know that day the amount. So we know what you're going to get credited for on your tax towards your giving, and we know what we're getting out of the deal. Instead of what if you donated your stock and it was worth $100 a share, and then 6 months from now we liquidate it and it's only worth $80 a share? Like, what do we credit you, the 100 or the 80? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it gets muddy and complicated. So we don't hold people's donations as a form of investment strategy. And then if the church ever decides to own stock as a part of an investment strategy where we want to invest funds, or if we had money instead of sitting in a bank account, wanted to put it in the market or something, which I can imagine that's anywhere near in the future, but we would then buy stock to do that as part of our strategy, not holding people's donations as part of it.
Okay,
Correct.
that makes sense.
If that makes sense. So we do liquidate it when you donate it, but it saves you the capital gains taxes, and we get the intended amount, and you owe no taxes. So it's cool.
Got it. That's cool.
Works great.
Precisely.
Precisely.
Yep.
We've
So-
come a long way from when I started ministry.
Yeah.
Big facts.
What they have.
Car wash.
Car wash.
Yep.
Donut sale. We were selling Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
Man. So,
Yeah,
Man.
we got a
Shows
car
my
wash
age,
this
guys.
week. No offense to people doing car washes.
no offense. No offense.
Just stop.
It's a lot of work.
Well, yeah. The thing is, back in the day, if you wanted to get a car wash, you had to like go through a lot of work. Now, I got a $15.99 monthly membership up the road here, and
I do have that.
zip through that bad boy twice a week.
And I do.
Yeah.
Did you ever try to do, when y'all were doing car washes, to try to get really creative whenever we were like in ministry, like doing youth ministry? Topless car wash. And then we would advertise that, but we wouldn't wash the tops of the cars.
I love that.
Stupid.
That's
but-
actually really fun.
Yeah, I love that.
I would
I
like
don't
to be
know
a
that I
part of
want to
that.
meet the creeps pulling up to that car wash, though.
At the church.
Yeah, who
At the
saw,
church,
who
yeah,
saw
yeah.
the sign for that? We're like, I gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, so
You all right?
I dropped it down, but I dropped it down too low. Don't give me that look, John. Yeah, so, but yeah, no, we tried it's and teenagers can't clean their room. Why do we trust them to clean cars? Like stuff like that. Like
facts.
it's like you watch a car pulling out after they just got their car washed at your car wash, and you're like, ugh, that's pretty bad. They're gonna have to wash that again later, and you're like,
Well, I think most people get, I'm here to make a donation.
that's exactly it.
I'm not here
There's
to
been
get my-
times where in the last year I pulled into a car wash, gave them $20,
And
then
drove off.
spent $10, $20 to go to a car wash and do it myself.
Literally.
Yeah,
yeah.
Here's
I just-
50, and just let's not even worry about it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
no.
So
But I guess the flip side is it does, some of it's not about the money. I think it's about you teaching a little bit of responsibility. You get the kids involved. I see that side too.
that's
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Get them
Yeah.
doing something. They get a little
Earn
skin
your
in
way.
get a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
When they got to work for it,
Yeah.
they feel a part of it.
true.
So I
Yeah.
get that part too.
But
So.
some teenagers, half of them are hoping their friends show up in bathing suits.
Well,
Yeah, trying to see some skin in the game. I did. Yeah.
true.
I was a youth pastor, and you're sitting there like, go put a shirt on. That's what you need to go do.
That's right.
Yeah.
In the name of the Lord.
And then yeah. So.
yeah,
But all that to say, crazy things happen around here.
yeah.
Got funds being raised.
Raising, trying to get Imagine where we need to be, so we can, as we move forward with the
Expansion.
the expansion project, which that's always exciting. And as we learn more, we'll share more. It's just those things move
We're
slow.
waiting on a big email right now, actually, in,
We are.
in regards to that.
Yeah, so-
can't give you all too much information, but we are waiting on a big email for that.
We are. So, those things move slow, but they're moving.
Yeah.
So that's good. Getting that building demolished,
Big
building 3
deal.
was so great just to see something happen. I mean, I was so excited. I just stood there and watched them for a little while that one day.
Yeah, just tear it down.
Yeah,
just like, yeah.
Plus, that guy was like a surgeon with that machine.
Yeah.
He was. He was peeling the sheetrock away from the brick and stuff with that bucket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was good.
He was not his first time in that machine.
yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I didn't realize until you said it. What did you this morning? Did you say where the people saw it? That used to be a part of one of the churches that was here before. That that stopped by and wanted to take a break just as a memory from that
Right.
building. That was the original sanctuary and stuff of the church that used to be here. So
Right.
they wanted to take a little piece
A couple
with
of
them.
people come attend our church, and then some that were just driving by
Yeah.
saw it and asked, "Hey, can we take a brick?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Of course, take one.
Well, I mean, it's like a lot, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
save
I
us.
thought about taking a bunch of them and making me a grill at my house.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. How you gonna do that? You just set them around.
Yeah, just kind of set them up. I mean, you got to like do the thing,
You can just buy a grill.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Less work.
Yeah. I always wanted like a big like brick grill smoker, like, not like one you get at the store, but like to make one,
Yeah.
I've always wanted that. I never wanted to actually make it. I just wanted one that was made. Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to make it.
And then you have someone come do all the smoking, grilling. I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
And that makes me. Less,
I don't mind doing
if
that.
you're a
I like
man, you're
grilling and
supposed to want
stuff.
to do that. But
I like
just
grilling
don't.
and smoking.
I like grilling.
But-
I'm just not that good at it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Really, I'm pretty good at it, but
It's a lot. A lot.
I really like cooking though. Cooking is like my jam.
I don't
so-
mind. My good friend Leaf is like.
Oh yeah, he's like a pit master.
Yeah, he's really good, man. His like pork butt, pulled pork is phenomenal.
Yeah.
brisket, ribs. He makes his own sauce.
Real deal.
Yeah, he's
We
fantastic.
got some guys on our church that can throw down.
Bro.
David
Oh,
Cash,
absolutely.
True.
Tim Williams, Tremaine.
Tremaine can cook. Tremaine gets me on Snapchat on some Sundays. It's like they have never ending food. And he just shows like styrofoam casserole dish after casserole
just going
dish.
down the line,
And I'm like,
man.
it looks like Thanksgiving over there. Macaroni
Yeah.
and cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah,
I'm
ain't even
like,
that many people over there.
No, I was
yeah,
like,
how y'all got that much
I was
food?
like, Tremaine is cooking today.
That's how I was on the way home Sunday, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to eat for lunch. I was like, man, what am I going to eat for lunch? And I was at a red light, and so I was scrolling Facebook for a minute because I had gotten a bunch of people tagging me and stuff. And I got off of the tags, and I just went to like the regular thing. And the first thing that popped up was Thai. Family Ties was like, I'm doing Sunday dinner, fried grouper, ribs. I hit him up. I said, I'm on my way, brother. And I got chicken wings, ribs, fried grouper, baked beans, potato salad.
Wow.
It was delicious.
I'm so mad that I didn't get a chance to see that post because I would have been there.
I told him, I was like, man, we gotta figure out a way to get you more
Consistent.
let people see you more, because he'll just post it randomly, but he sells out, so I guess he ain't tripping. But
Good for him.
I'll tag y'all next time. I'll
Tag-
send it to you.
Tag me because I will
Good for
definitely
him.
be there. So
Good for him. So what else? Anything good happened this week?
I mean, we had Rally Day.
Rally Day.
Last
Groups
Sunday.
kicked off.
Groups kicked off. So it's fantastic.
How many
Sunday.
groups we got?
27.
27
which is the
groups.
most that we've ever had for a season 2.
Season 2.
Wow.
Since I've been here, we've only had like 16, 17.
Season
So-
2, for those of you that are listening, maybe don't know about how we operate, season 2 is this summer. So that's May through August.
Yep.
So season 2 is kind of hit or miss sometimes. A lot of families are traveling, kids got baseball, the
It's-
whole thing. So
it's
sometimes
summer,
it's
yeah.
harder for groups to get started, get traction, but 27 groups is a phenomenal number for us.
27 groups, and the last numbers I checked this morning, we had 248 people within
Let's
groups.
go.
So that puts us at 20% because we had 1199 this last Sunday. So we're a little right at 20% of our church involved in groups. So
$11.99. That's wild.
yeah, it's crazy. So, but yeah, season 2 kicked off. It was fantastic. It's great.
Yep.
Very happy.
Yeah, and then on Saturday, this past Saturday, we did the Reimagine food,
Reimagine.
20,000 pounds of food
Yep.
giveaway at
Bellevue Middle School.
Bellevue Middle, right up the road.
Phenomenal.
It was hot.
It was hot.
It was a little warm.
was-
It's gonna be
hot.
a hot summer.
It is. Yeah.
And
It's
can
gonna
I be
a hot
honest?
summer.
I was nervous because I don't know about you guys, but I felt like it was colder longer this season.
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
Than
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah,
And then
we
out of
did.
nowhere, it's like the Lord flipped the switch. And
Yeah,
like,
we
hey,
didn't get
heat.
we didn't get a real spring.
Yeah.
We didn't get a slow spring. We just got like a cold, hot like thing happened. So
It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
I know we played golf on Friday,
Friday.
and then we didn't start till 1:30, and it was hot.
it was brutal.
I was like, I don't know. If
Well, it was. It's gonna be hot.
could be
for sure.
worse. It was only in the 80s.
No, that's what I was. It wasn't. It actually wasn't that bad. But I've played summer golf before now, so I know it's like, I know what's coming.
yeah.
I know what July is gonna be talking about.
Yeah,
And,
I might miss golf in July.
yeah. Well, we also need to avoid 1 p.m. That's the
Well,
other-
there's that. Yeah,
7 a.m. works a lot better.
Yeah, we were in the thick of it, thick of that heat.
But look, shout out to our dream team, man. The guys that showed up to serve. I mean, even though it was hot, nobody complained. People
No.
were still giving high fives,
Great
walking
culture.
people to the car. Yeah, the
Great
culture
culture.
is just so.
As
so
when
important.
I was there. A few different people walked up to me and they was like, "Man, when y'all show up, y'all show up." And I was like, "That's right. When we
Yeah.
show up, we show up." So
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
Yeah, we
That's fantastic.
ain't here to play no games.
That's right.
So because culture matters.
Culture matters.
Culture matters. So,
Wow.
yeah, no, it was a great event, great time. Handed out lots of food, took care of a lot of people. Just really cool, man. And shout out to the team, Jessica, JJ,
Man.
and Tiffany, and even Rick and
Your kids.
your kids.
Your
they
kids.
served phenomenal.
Yeah.
Listen, they're workhorses, man. I don't give them enough credit. They
They was in there.
the role of pastor kids, it's almost like that expectation to show up to
Yeah,
everything.
you get
but-
voluntold.
Yeah, voluntold, but man, Will's a workhorse, man.
Yeah, he
and
is.
He is.
And so is Anna. I don't want to discredit my daughter, but out of the two,
Well, yeah,
he's
yeah,
also
yeah.
the stronger out of
Right,
the two.
exactly,
So he
yeah.
was just like, do whatever.
They both serve in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But no, you guys put in work, and it was such a beautiful system. You know, that's one of the things too. It's like one thing to serve, one thing. It's a whole other thing to serve efficiently. You guys did a great job. And so yeah, it was a great event.
Yeah, I take no credit for that. Tiffany is the brains, and her and JJ put their heads together, and it was a very efficient.
I love a good efficient system, boys.
That's right.
Love a good efficient system, well executed,
A well-oiled machine.
That's right. So, but yeah, that was great. And then we had Sunday. Sunday was great, man. We
had a lot of first-time guests.
Did we?
Like 21?
Yeah, I didn't even see that number.
21 and then 14 salvations.
Yeah, I think
Really? Well, praise God. We did something.
or the Lord did.
The Lord did.
Yeah, he did his part.
Somebody did.
Yeah, he did his part.
What we did was ordinary. What he did
Was extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Wow. What a tie into the message.
If you haven't listened to the message,
Wow.
That's right.
Synergy.
That's right.
coming together.
Yeah. So yeah, no, go check out the message. That's what we talked about.
Yeah.
Letting God add extra to our ordinary.
To be extraordinary.
Yeah. So
Do y'all say the word extraordinary?
that's two different words.
Or extraordinary?
No, I say extraordinary.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I think that's what you're supposed to.
Yeah, I think so. People, well, you know, some people get weird about stuff too, though. They like say words way too properly. Yeah, extraordinary. It's like, that sounds British to me.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Well, you know, we've always talked about some people say words. We talked about in the past pamphlet versus pamphlet. And
Yes.
we talked about that.
And people say that they actually say pamphlet.
Most people say that, and I'm like,
They're lying.
there's got to be wrong.
It's a lie. It's a fib.
Do you say the P or
Pamphlet.
the PH? Or the F? Pamphlet.
I don't know now.
I say
Pamphlet.
Pamphlet.
I think I say pamphlet.
That's a lie.
All right, what about this one? Do you have it down pat or down? I always heard it down packed with a CT, P-A-C-T, like packed.
Got it down pat. P-A-T.
I've never grown up.
I say PAT.
I'm probably the only
Down
one,
pat.
but I heard it as down packed
With a CT.
with a CT.
Nah.
Not down
We're
pat.
not doing that.
I say down pat.
All right, what about
All right, viewers, we need comments. Y'all need to
right.
drop. We need answers.
Is
CT.
it intense and purposes or intensive purposes?
I thought it was intent and purposes.
Intense, yeah.
No,
intense for all intents and purposes. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people say intensive for all intensive purposes.
Intensive purposes. No, stop it right now.
Some people have said that. Yeah,
No, no.
yeah. That's wrong.
That's
It's wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously wrong.
It's
Yeah.
intents and purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's obviously wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Those people are probably going to be on the news one day soon.
Speaking of the news, listen, this whole college debacle, these encampments and stuff with the
Oh
college.
yeah. The independently funded encampments that are calling.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I'm out of the loop.
So
Well, it's like all these college kids were starting to protest, like we're all like really free Palestine type stuff, and it's like,
okay.
and then
But
and then one network was even like there were like Jewish students in the free Palestine side, like screaming hatred toward Israel or whatever. It's just like,
what is happening?
what is going on? And
So
just,
the big thing they're talking about with all that is
it was funded.
It's
That's
yeah.
the conspiracy stuff.
The conspiracy stuff is funded. Well, and some of it's like some of it just doesn't make sense because it's like it's not. I can't say it's for every campus, but for some of the campuses, like the entire every person that is, what are we talking about? What are they doing?
Protesting.
Protesting. Jesus, all the protesters all have the same tents. It's like obvious someone gave all these protesters the same tents. Like it's not.
okay.
Yeah, it's not like they all happen to show up with the same green tents that are the same size, laid out in particular. It's like obviously someone came in and did all this. Now that's not at every camp. I don't know what's going on at every camp, but at some campuses it's obvious that it's being independently funded and encouraged by someone else. You know, not.
Well, they
saying who and all that, but-
interviewed this one girl. They kind of went all over the place. They were like, "Why are you out here?"
Yeah, they
protest?
don't.
And
They
she's
don't
like,
know.
she didn't know. Like
Yeah.
she's just like, well,
Someone posted a Craigslist
she's like,
ad.
apparently, you know, New York University stance toward Israel, and they were like, "What's the stance?" She's like, "Well, I don't."
Oh my God.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They said I got free Subway for 6 months if I came out here. That's all I know.
Wow.
So she didn't say that. That's
Yeah, no, yeah.
Just so we're clear. Yeah. So
I felt bad. I mean, I think I guess in this conversation you always have to take sides, but there was some clips of some, especially on Twitter. There's a couple, or X now, which is stupid, but there's a couple different really good. I think I got them from Pastor Scott Thomas, like accounts that are like pro-Jewish and things like that, and they are showing videos you wouldn't normally see on like the mainstream media of like this Jewish student just trying to get to class, and they wouldn't let him, and he's just like, "Y'all see me? I'm just trying to," and he's getting frustrated because the cops are there. He's like, "I'm a student. I pay tuition."
yeah.
And they're blocking me. Why can't y'all do something? I just want to go to class, And it's like, but they're all allowed to just surround him, and
Yeah.
it's beyond protest at that point.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like
That's a hate crime. Lock them up.
verging on it. Yeah. So
Do it.
Lock them up. I got no sympathy for that kind of
it's
stuff.
crazy. Yeah. So, anyways,
Take them down. Well, that's
And then
like the University of Florida. They like started snatching up students, arresting them, and expelling them. Like,
Good.
now, I think there was like more to it. They
Right.
weren't just protesting; they were like doing something. But the University of Florida president or whatever came out and issued a statement. Was like, "We ain't playing no games." He said,
Well,
"Y'all
what's-
know what the rules are, so don't act wild around here."
What's crazy to me is, and it's unfortunate that I think that some of it lands politically, because I never really wanted to be right or left, even though I kind of grew up more in a liberal environment. But there's these protesters and stuff in some of these cities, literally saying things like "Death to America." It's like you're in America. It's like you can only say that because of the freedoms we have. But it's like, if you really feel that way, why are you here?
Right. I felt like leaning back. Yeah, no, like you could literally get on a plane and go somewhere else if you wanted to. Right. That's like all the politicians are like, if so and so wins the election, I'm leaving, and then they win. It's like, you really leaving?
Yeah, but I mean, and some of these people have a good point. Like, I obviously believe in free speech, and I guess do you have I don't know. No other country could just stand there and say "death to that country," like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
The protection of free speech is a little out of control sometimes.
And I guess at the end of the day, if you're gonna have free speech, you have to allow everything, right? So it's like, but it's just like go somewhere. If you don't like it here, like if you pledge allegiance to something else, then go there.
Well, it's just the hypocrisy, right? It's like to indulge in the freedom that lets you scream that out loud while declaring that you don't want to be in a place where you can scream that out loud. It's just the hypocrisy. That's come on, man.
Yeah.
So, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Well,
Tangled
web we weave.
So, how the turntables.
The turntables.
But yeah.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
No, fool me once, shame
Strike
on you.
3.
Twice. Shame on.
If you don't watch The Office, that's Office quotes for you guys. But
Okay.
That was Office quote.
yeah.
I thought Justin got something wrong for the
No,
first
no,
time.
it was Office quote.
No, Office
Michael
quote.
Scott got something wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Scott.
But it's crazy what's
It's
going
wild
on
out there right now.
But
it's a wild time.
all the more reason we need
Jesus.
a better church.
Oh yeah, church.
Capital C institution church.
Yeah.
No,
No, because it's going to be a wild time. I mean, the election's going to be wild.
Oh dear heavens!
The election's going to be wild. No one's happy about the
election.
No. And I don't know. Maybe some people are, especially if,
no one's happy about the candidate.
Especially if one of those guys is your guy, and we know that one of the guys is a lot of people's guy, but you shouldn't be happy. I mean, I don't know. No one's at their best at that. It's just the whole thing's wild.
Well, and I think the thing is like, I'm not even talking about political platforms. None of that. I'm not talking about any of that right now. I'm strictly talking about there is a inability for a 65, 75, 85-year-old man to represent a country in the average. That's the average age is 40 something. Like, you're so
Listen, I'd I wouldn't even go far as say 65. 65 to the age of these two guys is still 20 years. You know, these guys are in their 80s.
They're in their 80s.
Or late.
The amount of like distance between their understanding of what most people in the world need. Well, and they've been wealthy their whole life.
And not only that, it's like, we'll name that. I mean, they're the two. Biden has been a politician in Congress for decades and decades and decades. So he's far removed from what the average American lives like.
Yep.
And let's be honest, Trump has no idea what it's
Trump's
like
been wealthy his whole life,
to be an average American.
Right,
so
exactly.
The stuff that they both claim they're trying to fix, neither one of them know what it's like to struggle anyways.
Right.
So it's like, and they're both in their 80s. It's just, at the end of the day, either one of them could pass away in the next term if they won. So their pick is very important. But it's just the whole thing's nuts. And then on top of that, the Israel stuff's still going on, and it's like it's just.
Remember the quotes from 2020 when it was like, I think we all just need to take a few years and find ourselves. I think we need to bring those back.
Yeah.
Why don't we just not elect a president? We need to take a few years and find ourselves.
Can we just date for a little while?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But, it happens every 4 years. I was talking to other pastors. We're just like, here we go, man. Just getting ready for the crap storm, which is all the more reason why we need, a good church culture that understands unity and all those things. And
then we have differences of opinion.
Yeah. We can disagree and sit at the same table, right?
The best example is me and Robbie McClaney.
I talked about Robbie the past Sunday.
He did. Me and him is the best example. I mean, of course, he's hilarious too. I told him, me and you ought to have a YouTube podcast.
Oh my gosh, you guys can get sponsored.
But it's like we've never agreed politically up until more recent. I think he's very proud. He says I've come to see his side a little more. But I think I'm just getting older, and some of the, the extremes on both sides is what drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting time, man. It's just so interesting, and I've always loved it. Of course, I liked it more than others. I follow it pretty closely, right. And I just like it, but I think it matters. But I think locally, here's the thing: if you live in Escambia County,
some big things happening right now.
In Escambia County this year in the election, the big election is the District 4 County Commission primary that's going to happen in August. Mm-hmm. That primary, there's 3 people running as a Republican seat, and that's the big race here locally. So 2 out of the 3, I know them. We're going to be doing some stuff through PYP with them, but that's the big race. That's my district that I live in. It's a very big district. It includes Pensacola Beach is included in that district, all of up down the Scenic Highway and all that. But the seat's empty right now, so there's only 4 out of the 5 guys on the commission to start with. Those other 4 are.
Is that Dover? Or what is it?
Robert Bender was it.
Robert Bender.
He left, yeah.
Yeah.
he was in the seat, and then he became the Escambia County Supervisor of Elections.
Gotcha.
So the seat's empty. Yeah. So.
Gotcha.
Anyways, that's going to be a good race. That's the big primary. Is going to be the exciting one locally. One of the people running is a female, Ashley. She's our age group. I grew up with her, actually. She's like the outsider, but she's run.
That's young for county commissioner.
Yeah, well, let's stop there. Say y'all's age group. Let's forget. It's y'all's age group, but
Rick got a half a decade on us, brother.
No, she's probably she's mid-30. She's 35-ish, maybe give or take a year.
That's young.
She's ran successful businesses. She has spoken at Entrecon she's known to be a leader in the community, but she's kind of an outsider compared to the other 2.
Sure. But she's 35. She hadn't had enough time to build equity yet.
Right.
Well, no, but she is a Pensacola Young Professional alumni. I do know that, and then one of the other guy is Walker Wilson, who's also in the same age group. Walker is the president, currently the executive director of the Pensacola Downtown Improvement Board, which runs Gallery Night and the Palafox Market. They're responsible for that. Walker is a past president of PYP, and he has ran for school board. He's ran for a couple things in the past and never won. But so those are 2 young faces, and then the other guy is Buck Mitchell, who owns Seville and all that. He's kind of got some of the money and power behind him. Percentage-wise, he probably stands the best chance, but he won't be the one I'm voting for.
Right.
But it's going to be an exciting as far as
Race.
excitement locally, that's the race. So anyways,
So here's my question then.
You should care about
maybe,
local politics.
Maybe I shouldn't ask this question on podcast. I don't know.
Let's do it.
But because we have people that watch our podcast that go to our church, but also that don't go to our church, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we do hear a lot here at TC is that they just love the culture that we create. So if somebody's watching a podcast and says, how does TC handle the political stuff, you know, as far as like all this stuff, you know? So
Regretfully.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. How do we handle political stuff? Well,
Especially this election season coming up,
Yep.
right? Because part of our culture is unity drives us
Yes.
in who we are, right? So
Yep.
I know that we stand on those things. So if somebody's looking at a podcast, goes, okay, y'all mentioned this. So what do you guys do to help create the healthy culture during election season?
I'm not answering.
avoid it at all costs. No, I'm just kidding. So there's a few things so one of the things I'll say is I think the best way to build a church culture that can endure an election cycle is not to try to build one during an election cycle.
It's good.
Like you cultivate a culture of unity at all times so that when moments of frustration or tension between political parties or social issues or stuff like that come up, we've already been navigating unity together the whole time, right? So I think that's part of it. So, you know, one of the things we talk about often is we talk about unity a lot. One of the other things we talk about is we're going to pursue our purpose, as in TC and Transformation Church, we're going to pursue our purpose over my preference. So it's not about what I want or what I think is best. Everybody has a very limited view, and even when it comes to our politicians that we vote for, we're voting for them because we're personally convicted by something that happened in our life or in our personal upbringing. And the better we can realize that the person that's on the other side of the aisle from us, so someone that may sit in church with us, they're doing the exact same thing. They had a personal upbringing and a personal experience that caused them to believe something that just happens to be different than ours.
Right.
So we have to understand that they're not wrong for having the same reason to be voting the way they're voting as we're voting the way we're voting. Now, oftentimes one of those lines up biblically easier than the other.
Right.
And that's where tension comes in, because what a lot of people do is they take their personal preference, and because it just so happens to line up biblically, they now use the Bible as the biblical backbone for what they would have preferred to have themselves anyways.
Right.
So that I think there's tension there, but we always go back to unity. And one of the things we say, I think we say it in step 3 a lot. I think it's in the video actually that we use for step 3, is we care more about the person sitting next to us than we do our own opinion. Right. And so we talk about like culture phrasing and words that we use. And so one of the things we try to encourage people to do is, rather than saying, I don't agree with that, use a phrase, tell me more about that.
Right.
Because a person's personal reason for why they believe something is always better than the fact that someone else heard it on Fox News or CNN, right? So for example, we'll take something that's kind of like has a little bit less tension in the church world, like abortion, for example. Like, we're pro-life. We're not pro-choice. Now, we believe that should be womb to tomb, not just womb to air. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I think that there's other conversations that go along with that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're for life, because we believe that every person that is created in God's image, have the right to bear his image on this earth. Therefore, we're not for abortion. So I have no problem putting my flag in the ground on that. However, or I should say, in addition to that, to know the story of the single mom in our church who is watching her 3 kids suffer right now and not be able to eat, and know that she's contemplating having, through right decisions or wrong decisions, she's currently pregnant or just found out she's pregnant. And she says, I can't afford to feed 3. How in the world am I going to afford to feed 4? To just blanket statement something and say, abortion is wrong, it's not biblical, you should not do it. I agree with that. Your ability to sit with that young lady and say, tell me more about that. Right. And she explains to you her story, and having to watch her kids cry every night as they go to sleep because their stomach hurts because they don't have food, it gives you a different perspective as to why this young lady is contemplating a decision or thinking about voting for someone that would make that part of her life easier. Again, I'm not saying she's right or anything. I'm just saying now you have compassion on the person that sits in the chair next to you while we worship Jesus together, and you're not on Facebook going.
At least empathy on the situation.
Empathy, right. You can,
and
you can sit in that space.
And I'll add too that we try really hard to not mention names, like the politicians' names or the candidates' names.
Never. We never mention names.
And I've had to learn over the years, even probably before I even got here though, because I am into politics and I follow it. I used to, like, around the time I like to like on Twitter and I like to post about it. But I also understand that because of my role in our church has influence, I've had to tone that down over the years and understand that maybe I should be a little more vague. Maybe you should not know who I vote for. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be so in my posts, exactly who I'm against or who I'm for politically. Maybe it should be more. I learned that a lot more from him, but I also have no issue calling out. And this is what I think maybe it's our duty, some as just leaders, maybe not as pastors, but as leaders. Like, because he mentioned abortion, like in the church, we know what we stand for, right? So when we look at Biden and Trump, we could say, does one of those have a better stance on abortion? Well, my issue right now is a lot of people would say Trump has the better stance because he's the conservative and the Republican. The problem is, if you watch lately, when Trump is asked about abortion, his answer is, I'm going to leave it to the states.
Very soft. Yeah.
So as a Christian, are we saying the guy that we want believes it's okay to murder babies in some states and not others? Because if you're going to leave it to the states, some states are going to allow it and some are not. Right. So if you're going to be against abortion, you need to be against abortion. Yeah. And the guy, for a lot of Christians, and a lot of Christians who even claim he's the guy Jesus sent, which is just that's ludicrous, very far stretched statement. What I'm saying is his current stance is, I'm going to leave it to the states, which is not really an answer. That's punting the ball on the question. Right. But basically, you're saying you're for life in some states and for the murder of babies in others. And that's just like, as a Christian, I can't get down with either one of those candidates and that on that topic. Right. Now, that doesn't mean. Does that mean you're out on both because that's the only topic that exists? I don't think that either. You got to look at the layers. Yeah. So it's very hard. And as a Christian, I totally understand. The problem is, I think some Christians have taken a couple issues and made them the issue. And again, I think, life is a big issue, and I understand why that abortion is such a big issue. I do get it.
Well, and that's,
but at the end of the day, I think it's so layered, and there's a lot of different things that that we got to look at. So
absolutely, and the thing is there's certain issues that affect certain communities more than others, and it's like that's what I said. There's so, for one political party to be largely responsible or more prominent in something in regards to institutional racism or mass incarceration and the effect that has on the born community and the unborn community, the fact that we see far more abortions happening in communities where we've allowed fathers to be locked up for crimes that really should have never been crimes to start with, and now aren't crimes. Right. But they're still locked. There's layers, man.
There are states and counties in our country that is, you are allowed to possess marijuana now, but there are still people locked up for the possession of marijuana when they got arrested. It's like, some of this is crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So all that to say is, like, there's layers to that. And so what I'm saying on the podcast isn't on behalf of, against, or whatever. It's not the issues that we're talking about. So I'm not talking about drug possession or abortion and those things. What I'm saying is, when you sit down and have conversations with people and you understand their story, it gives you the ability to maybe hold back your opinion on Facebook or not be so loud and think to yourself, man, this Sunday I'm going to sit next to that person again. If me and Justin have difference of opinion and Justin shares his story with me and I go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, you went through that as a child, or you went through that in your life, or whatever, and that makes more sense to me that you feel so strongly about it because you experienced this growing up. Now, before I post something stupid on Facebook, I want to think about, how is this? I'm going to see Justin again on Sunday, and I know he looks at my Facebook or my Instagram, and so if I post this, but then I got to go shake his hand in the hallway on Sunday. Is this post going to help create unity between me and my brother? Screw what the rest of the world thinks.
Right.
My job isn't to get notoriety on Facebook or increase my likes or share my opinion or whatever. My job is to care for my brother. And is this going to help build the community for my brother, right? So when we're encouraging people, when we're talking about culture, when we're talking about politics, I believe every Christian's greatest duty when it comes to how they vote is to follow their biblical conviction.
Yep.
And then understand how their voice impacts their brother or sister. So biblical conviction is first, 100%. I got no qualms with that. What does the Bible say about this issue? I think that's where we should plant our flag to start with. Then how I voice that opinion and how I make that stance and how I talk about it in conversations and on social media and how I use grace and compassion and empathy and how I navigate the subtleties of that. I think the very next thing should be, how does it impact my brother or my sister that I'm going to sit next to at church? Because love your Lord God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength. The second thing is love your neighbor as yourself. So that means follow God's conviction first. And the very next thing is, how does this impact the person that I sit next to? And I think we've locked into the first, we've ignored the second. So let that be a plug for the next series that's coming up this summer.
And
I would take a lap around this whole lobby right now.
I would say this, kind of to your question, as something I've learned for those of y'all that know my involvement in the community through like Pentecostal professionals, so all the spiritual Bible Christian stuff aside, what I would encourage people in our church to do is go hyper local. Too many people only know like the presidential race, and if you're a Republican, you walk into the ballot booth, you vote for the Republican, and then every other candidate, it's the one with the R, because that's the same letter of the guy you like, and the Democrats do the same thing. So down ballot, people have no idea. At the end of the day, your state and local government and those decisions being made every day impact your life far more than what's 100%. Happening in Washington. And I think 100%. you should go hyper local. I think you should know who your county commissioners are. Go to those meetings, because those meetings can get gnarly, because those are clowns sitting in office right now. No offense to the ones I know. I'm sorry, but some of y'all been in there too long. You gotta get out. We need new people.
Well, let's not kid ourselves too. Sorry to interrupt. But let's not kid ourselves too. We know right now, maybe you do too, but I know me and you both know. We both know people with R's next to their names that are actually Democrats, and people that are getting D's next to their name that are actually Republicans. Like we know people right now in office that are not what they represent.
They play, and there's a game to play, especially locally. When it
so
comes
if you
to
think
partisan.
just checking that box gives you some sort of you're wrong.
Right.
You're wrong.
But what I'm saying is, and here's what I don't know the exact number, so forgive me, but I know at the state level, I think I told one of y'all this. Obviously, Governor of Florida is Ron DeSantis, but at the state level, with the state House and state Senate, in the House, like 80% of bills that are passed are unanimous.
Yeah,
meaning they're nonpartisan.
Right.
They're the Democrats and Republicans are voting on them. You never hear that. You don't hear about that. So everything just comes across as so divisive, but on a state level, there's so much that is unanimous. And 80% I'm wrong on, but it's a high percentage like that. Because I was just in Tallahassee a few months ago, and they were telling us that. So and I got to sit in a committee hearing with the Democrats and the Republicans, and on most of the votes, it was unanimous. They all felt the same way. Yeah. And it's like, that is so encouraging when you think of it. But I think you should know who your county commissioners are, the people at the city level, your school board, my God, especially in Escambia County, we need new school board members. Get involved in those. Like that. I have heard rumor there's a grassroots campaign of women, moms in Escambia County, that are raising money to find candidates to replace these clowns in Escambia County, the school board. And we need to, because they're not doing their job either. I do like, for the most part, the superintendent, because he's a local and I think he cares. But
I can agree with that, because I've had some good dealings with him.
I think he cares about the community and the quality of the school system. He was a teacher and a coach in Escambia County, the whole thing. But anyways, I think you should go hyper local and forget less about Biden and Trump, because at the end of the day,
it's good advice.
A lot of what they do matters very little to us on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So even at your congressional level at Washington, but I think start with the state and hyper local, it impacts you way more. So, and it's more exciting than you think.
Yeah. So the summer series, go ahead and give y'all a little spoiler. Y'all don't know about it. We're changing up the summer series this year. It's called Invited to the Cookout.
Oh,
So it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna be
is that
talking.
June?
What's
or
that?
July? Or is that
Both.
Both.
Yeah, June, July.
Okay.
So I think it starts the second Sunday of June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Invited to the cookout. Let's
Invited
go.
to the
I like
cookout.
that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good time. But some of this is what we're gonna deal with, which is like
I love that.
unity and the fact that we can all be invited to the cookout. Different generations are invited to the cookout.
Right.
People,
Different
people with
opinions
different
and-
backgrounds. Yeah, you come to the cookout and you have the conversations that while you're sitting in the lawn chairs. Like, nah, I don't think so. Like,
Right.
but we're invited to the cookout. Like,
Right.
When you learn stuff.
yeah,
It is,
so-
and
you
the
learn
reason
what-
why I brought it up was because yesterday I just had it was like a day of fielding phone calls due to small group season kicking off and things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
we had some people who came to the church for the very first time, and their comments were this: TC checks all the boxes. And she goes, it is amazing to see a church that is so diverse. Being diverse, I know there's differences of opinions and there's differences of things going on.
All
And
day.
so she goes, and that's what stands out to me. And the fact that I can look around, they're a multiracial family. It's like the fact that I can look around and somebody who looks like me is standing next to me. Somebody who looks like my children can, what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
that is what stands out
huge.
the most, right?
Absolutely.
So just knowing how we have grown in the last year,
Yeah.
and the culture has been we have honed in on culture.
Yeah.
I just know people watching this podcast may just ask those questions.
No,
It's good,
it is
though.
big, and for it goes back to what we were talking about too earlier. Though is at the end of the day, it's like we don't every 4 years we don't have this conversation.
Right.
Every year we have this conversation,
Yeah.
and that's why, because it's part of the culture, right? So, so I think that's what's also important. It should be an ongoing conversation because it's not about making it through the election. It's about raising and developing disciples of Christ that can have these kind of conversations year round, right? Yeah. So, me and Justin, we land on opposite sides of a lot of things a lot of times. So we got no problem giving each other pushback. And I'd be like, "No, you're full of crap because of blank," and he'd be like, "Well, then what about We'll do that a lot. But at the end of the day, none of that is a reason why we can't sit at the same table or even be behind the same. We're behind the same vision, behind the same mission. He's been my right hand guy for going on 8 years now. And so,
Old.
as far as the church
From the
goes,
skating rink to the church.
the skate, yeah. But all that to say is we've been doing this a long time together, and I think even you coming in, the moments where we would kind of lock horns a little bit, I think kind of freaked you out a little bit because we would just go at it about whatever the topic was, if we felt strongly about it. But those things don't define our relationship.
Right. And I'll be honest, Tiff and I talked, I think it was last night or even this morning, one of the things that we love about TC and that has helped us grow as leaders, but also just in different ways just within our leadership would be, this is a place where you can disagree in your opinions, but yet still maintain friendships because it's not personal.
Right.
And I mean, I've seen you guys lock horns. I think my first 2 weeks here, I saw John and Nate lock horns, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna get in a fight. Somebody's getting fired.
Somebody's
today.
quitting.
Somebody's quitting. But
I'm over there eating popcorn. Which one?
right.
Justin's egging it on, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the fact that even after they disagreed, they're laughing, high-fiving, and going to lunch, right? And it's not personal. And it's just such a healthy environment for them,
And I think the reason is because we all agree on the destination.
Right.
Sometimes we have different, because whether it's your past or how you grew up or just how you view the world, you may have a different idea of how we should get there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's we have the same destination. And I think it's an analogy to, as a country, I think most Americans, I would think, Democrat or Republican, ultimately kind of want the same thing. You want the next generation, your kids, to be better off than you were. And all the freedoms we have and experience that make us unique, and all these things. We all want those. We just have different views on how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
One side thinks it's through, taxing the wealthy people, and one side thinks there's no taxes at all. But at the end of the day, we want the same thing ultimately.
Yeah.
At least you would think,
Right.
Right.
So that's, I think, what makes America unique country that it is. It is. We ultimately hold fast to that same thing, whether it's your church, where it's the vision of the church, or in our country, where it's the ideals that our country was founded on. We all want the same thing. We just have very different views on how to get there sometimes, and that's not bad.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So no, I totally agree, and that's why I think it's important that we understand those things and understand how to navigate through it. It's a fantastic question, because it's something that honestly, like, we work so hard that we don't talk about it a lot, just because we all know how that can go. But I think it is important to answer, because there's a lot of people that, if you're new to TC and you haven't navigated an election season with us before, we can minimize your frustrations right now, and help you understand.
Minimize fears.
You're not going to hear. You're not going to hear us talk about candidates. I don't use names, because names. There's only room for one name in our pulpit and on our platform, and his name's Jesus. So
wow,
we don't talk about other names on our platform.
That's right, brother.
So
you heard it here.
That's right. So we don't. That's the only name that we got room for is Jesus, and then even outside of that, it's we're always going to have conversations. It's not you're wrong. It's tell me more about that. Right. I want to know the person's story and why they think that way, rather than tell them they're wrong for thinking that way. What is it that's, and you'd be shocked, man. You'd be shocked to know some of the things, the people that sit next to you every Sunday. Like, you'd be shocked to know their story. Willie Stevens, like, he has a lot of conversations about social rights and social justice. And if you knew his family background and some of the things that his uncles and stuff had been through, you go, oh my God, I had no idea. But again, if you don't ask those questions, like, you just think he's wrong. And it's like, well, he's right for where he's at and what he thinks is the most important thing to be talked about, because that's what his life represents, right? So and for the record, if what he believed was the only thing on the docket, we would all agree on it. The reason we disagree is we think that takes a backseat to the thing we think is more important. So it's not that we disagree with him.
That's good.
It's not that we think he's wrong. It's that we think that's the fourth most important thing. To us, the first most important thing is the reason we vote. But to him, that's the first most important thing. Right. So it's like, when we think about things that way, it changes, and it helps us, again, empathize with our brothers and sisters. And that is what has helped us as a church.
I remember the 3 words I came to you just talking about certain things, and you do what you always do, give great wisdom, challenge me, whatever, make me think. And so, but you gave me 3 words that's really helped out even with my marriage with Tiffany. And I think it works in moments like this, is that you sympathize, then you empathize, and then you hold, right? I can hold my opinion because I've sympathized, and now I can empathize with it. And I'm going to hold this statement, or I'm going to hold this thing, because now I'm trying to win this relationship versus trying to win the war.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's what we have done just as a church, done so well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Absolutely. Holding people's space. We drastically undervalue holding people's space.
Yeah, absolutely.
We voice our opinions and we don't hold space. And if we could learn to reverse those and hold our opinions, and then sit in people's space and just understand who they are, we could make a drastic impact.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's huge. But, well,
totally different turn from the.
That's a great conversation.
Recap.
Yeah, we'll tease up the next series. That next series is coming. It's gonna be dope.
That's awesome.
Coming up, invited to the barbecue.
I know.
Cookout.
I need to go to the
Invited to the cookout.
sermon
cookout.
series layout.
Yeah. It's even getting tweaked right now. I got a phone call this morning that kind of has some things getting tweaked around. So
I know.
You're on that mug, ain't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm first. Last time I saw, I was first Sunday. The original I was like last Sunday of May. Then it got switched to because I started.
You got moved to the first Sunday of June, but it's still the
June.
last Sunday of this series. So it's still how they do it. It just got moved to June 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So I was like a month ago. I was preparing for a
Mine's
different
June or
sermon.
July?
You're July.
You're
praise
July.
the Lord.
So
Yeah, you're July.
I was like, that's coming up fast. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we got some. July's gonna be fun, man. We have a guest pastor coming in. I'm not gonna say his name yet.
Come on.
But one of my good friends is coming in. I tried to get him last year, couldn't get him last year. He's coming in this year. He's gonna freak some people out. He's incredible. So I'm not gonna tell you his name because then you're gonna go on Instagram, and I don't want you to do that yet. I want when you see him Sunday to be the first Sunday you see him. That's but it's gonna be a good time. So, well, sweet. Justin. Where do they find information about this here church we
It's
pastored?
here in church, transformationchurch.com online or Transformation Pensacola on all your socials. Go like, subscribe, follow, friend.
Do the whole thing.
Share,
post, all
all
of
that
it.
stuff. We love you.
Special teams.
Special teams.
We're a
too.
special team.
Yeah.
Special players.
Special players.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right, love y'all. We'll catch y'all next week for another week, another sermon, another message.
Recap podcast.
Yeah, that thing.
We
Love
We out.
y'all.